This is a tutorial lesson on how to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown on Adobe Flash. Okay? If you're tagging along, let's click on ActionScript 3. Okay? Now, I'm going to have my, if you ever have the problem with Flash, guys, and you're like, sir, I don't know where my toolbars are. Sometimes it's better to go to Window, Workspace, and just say Reset to Essentials. Try that. Just make sure that our interfaces look the same. Okay? Excellent. Now, what I'm going to have you guys do is, I'm just going to relate to the website again, and you'll notice on the assignment sheet, it'll ask you, hey, what kind of formatting do I want? Do I want to do standard definition, high definition, or super high definition? Okay? Now, me personally, I'm going to make my stage 1920 by 1080, which is essentially the standard for television. Okay? You can pick what frame rate you want. 24 is a very cinematic feel. 30 is a more television feel. Okay? It's up to you. I like using 30 because it's easy to do the math. Half of 30 is 15. Well, half of 24 is 12. Whatever. You pick and choose whatever frame rate you like. Okay? So I'm going to show you with Flash how to change your frame rate. So you should have under Properties, the size and the FPS. So FPS is your frame rate. 24 is fine. I'm going to change mine to 30. It's up to you. Okay? I'm going to choose a 1920 by 1080. And that is a typical standard high definition video size. Now, if you notice, some of the shortcuts we learned from Illustrator and Photoshop are the same. So if I press spacebar, it pans through. For spacebar and Command, I can zoom in. If I press Alt with that, I can zoom out. Okay. Or if I think I press Command 0. No, actually Command 0 does not work on this one. So I'm going to press spacebar and Command and zoom in on my stage. So we have, and remember I mentioned, guys, and keep this in mind, when you're doing a movie with a film camera, the camera moves to the action. In animation, the camera stays still and the action moves to the camera. Okay, it's a little bit hard to understand, but it will make sense. Okay, so guys, we have our properties set. We have layers, very similar to Photoshop and Illustrator. What I'm going to do here is grab my text tool. I'm going to type in the number 5. Okay, you can use whatever font you like. And if you hold Shift and enlarge it, you can scale it as well. If you want to highlight it, go to your character format and you can make the font as big as you like. You can type in 500 point, 600 point. I'm going to go 600. It's a nice size for this stage. Okay. This is going to help you understand frames per second, guys. So if my frame rate on my stage is 30, if I want this number 5 to stay for 1 second, what frame should I end it at? Remember, my frame rate's 30. Exactly. So what I'm going to do is go to frame 30. And there's a few ways to do this. I'll show you 2 ways. You can right click and say insert frame. That will make that number 5 last that 30 frames or 1 second. Notice on the bottom here, it says you're at frame 30 and you're at 1 second. Whenever you move your timeline cursor, it will show you in seconds and frames where you are. So right now I'm at 15. Well, if we do the math, 15 frames is essentially half a second. Okay? So, I'm going to do 5, 4, and 3. You guys can figure out 2 and 1 afterwards. It's very simple. Okay? 2 ways of doing this. I can now duplicate this layer. And check this trick out. Drag that 30 frames and move it to frame 31. And then it'll end at 60. This is kind of a cheating, easy way of doing it. But the thing is, you're like, well, sir, it says 5 still. Not a problem. I'll click it, double click, and say, I want you to be 4. So now, you have 5 that lasts exactly 30 seconds, 4, and I'll just duplicate this again. Right click, duplicate layer, grab, and what I'm doing here with my keyboard, guys, I'm holding Shift, clicking on the first frame and last, grabbing the center, and I can drag it and snap into place. I'll go in, highlight it, change the character 3. Okay. Right. The other method, if you really wanted to, is to create a new layer. So if you see down here, guys, there's an icon that says new layer. You can go to the frame that you wanted to. So click on it, say right click, insert a keyframe. But now I got to retype it. And do you see the benefit of just duplicating the layer? Anyways, I'll show you this method. So I'll type in 2. The thing is, now I got to mimic where I put it. So the accuracy is not going to be there. So I really prefer the duplicate method. But this is another way of doing it. I'll do my math. So if I scrub to 120, I'll insert frame. So right click, insert frame, and you'll have that as well. So you can see the benefits of just duplicating. Saves you a lot of time. Okay, and I'll right click, duplicate the layer, hold shift, click my first frame, my second frame, and move it over. And voila. So I should be at the end, a total of 5 seconds exactly, and I'll rename this 1. And if I scrub through, I have a countdown. I'm going to press play. Okay, so there's your basic countdown. I'm going to stop my video. Any last minute questions before I stop this video? Okay. All right, guys. Excellent work.